Hello. With our release of our new PEO ASO software, Cohesion, ThinkWare is really excited about one of the new features, and that is the ability for your customers to run payroll themselves. So Cohesion is all about efficiency, and as you might have seen from other webinars, back office users can now run thousands of employees and hundreds of payrolls in minutes or seconds. But what's also nice is you can give the customer the ability to run payroll, whether it's just running from gross to net or running all the way to the invoice and you're approving it, or even if you wanted to, they can run the entire payroll themselves. We have that ability now. So it's fast and it's easy for the customer to do this. So today I'll quickly show you how that works. So I'm signing in as the customer, one of my customers, whatever their user ID is, normally to be a name. I'm just using a client ID in this case. They have the standard self-service portal area right here. But since I'm allowing this customer to run some or maybe all of their own payroll, they have access to their own kind of limited back office area where they can do things like run their own payrolls and do some other things. So they can either come in here and run into the payroll cockpit, or I have, as a user, I've saved this as a favorite right here. So I've come in immediately see, hey, this is the next payroll I'm supposed to run. I've already created the timesheet or imported my time from a time clock that came over or whatever it might be. So I'm actually ready for payroll. And the customer simply chooses this button, clicks off the payroll. And in this case, I'm letting the customer go all the way to even view what the invoice will look like. So within a matter of 3 or 4 seconds, the customers run their payroll. So they can now come in and review anything they want before they submit it off for approval to me as the PEO back office user. So first I'm looking at the payroll screen. Here's the payroll screen. Here's the invoice screen. I can go back and forth as much as I want. But coming here, I can review the payroll information if I want to review the taxes in a little more detail. If I want to review the wages in a lot of detail, I can see you've got paid hourly, salary, any of the benefits that are happening, any deductions. I can view all that information in detail without even running reports. I can see all that information. I can view check information live on screen. I can even kind of view a virtual check stub if I need to. And like I mentioned before, I can still run all the same reports that I need access to. A check register, a calculate checks report, all those types of things I can see right here. If I want to jump over to the invoice, come over to the invoice, and I can see exactly how much will be drafted from my account, what the totals are, and I can see any of the breakdown that I'm allowed to see. So if I need to see, hey, just show me everybody who got hourly wages, or break down any of the management fees or anything like that, depending upon how you're set up in the system. Of course, the customer can never change an invoice unless they change the payroll, but if they're okay with this, they simply submit for approval, or again, they can run any of the same types of reports, to see what their invoice will look like, all those things that we're used to as a user. But essentially, they've run the payroll, submitted back to the PEO for approval, and at that point, payroll is completed pending the PEO's approval. Now, if there were corrections to be made, if I have those rights, again, this is all set up by rights, I can do things like add an employee to a payroll process. I can delete an employee from the payroll process. So if I miss something on the timesheet, I can make those corrections by either adding or deleting, or even coming in and making changes to the check itself. So if I paid somebody the wrong amount of hours, I can just make that change right here. It'll update the payroll, update the invoice. So it empowers your clients to do a lot of the payroll themselves. If they've come from a service bureau or something and they're used to doing these things themselves, they can now do this themselves with the watchful eye of your organization to make sure everything is okay. And behind the scenes, we have built in controls and variances to make sure nothing is out of line. So if a payroll is all of a sudden 50% higher than their average of the last 10 payrolls, it'll stop and alert you for those types of things. But once they're done with the payroll process, they simply just go ahead and click the submit for approval. It comes back over to the back office or to whoever needs to approve this. Whoever approves the payroll, then they can finalize the payroll at that point, print checks, etc. So a very easy way for your customers to go ahead and create their own payrolls and even approve the invoice if you want them to go that far before they interact with you all. Thank you very much.